Classy Clarke Wolfe is a legend in the movie trivia Schmoedown. As of the time I'm making this video, she's played 22 matches. After going on impressive win streaks year after year, she's gotten several #1 contenders matches and title shots, whether she's on her own or with a partner. She's the league's go-to expert in the horror category. She also has strengths in new releases, fantasy sci-fi, and more. And her overall drive to win one of those championship belts is incredibly impressive. There's a level of fight within Clarke Wolfe that's hard to compare with anyone else in the league. With her #1 contender match for teams coming up soon, let's take a look back at Clarke Wolfe's history in the Schmoedown. Clarke entered the league on April 15th, 2016 with her match against Josh Makuga. From very early on, we all sat and watched as a new star in the league was born. She beat Makuga without much of a problem and moved on to beat Finstock in a surprisingly close game. Next, Wolfe took on the person now being regarded as the possible Schmoedown GOAT, Sam Levine. With Clarke earning a pretty commanding win, it was definitely impressive at the time, but in hindsight, it's a pretty remarkable achievement. With 3 wins in a row for her first matches in the league, Clarke worked her way right up to a title shot against Dan Murrell. Though Dan was at the height of his powers and the scoreline certainly showed that, Wolfe was still a newcomer who fought her way to a title shot, and that's something most competitors haven't even done. That bump in the road got a little bit larger for Clarke as she faced Makuga again, this time in the 2016 Ultimate Schmoedown tournament. With Makuga shocking the world and beating Clarke, my positive outlook on this match as a big fan of hers was that this seemed to ignite her love for creative entrances. She wore a crazy suit, stole Makuga's music, and did some wild man dances. Her next singles match was many months down the line against the infamous Little Evil, which saw her walking away with the W. This led her to a #1 contenders match against her team partner at the time, Mark Riley. She lost in a close game, and as we know, Riley went on to win his belt back. Soon after, a win against Mark Ellis gave her some momentum going into 2017's Ultimate Schmoedown, which was cut short early after a first-round loss to Miss Movies, Brianne Chandler. After some shakeups in the storylines, a manageable victory from her leader at the Fife Club led her to a #1 contenders match where she got to choose a ranked competitor to face for a chance to go for the belt. She picked Kalinowski and beat him in sudden death in a very tense match. Things got a lot more tense when she faced Sam Levine in a title match the next month. Levine had clearly stepped up his Schmoedown game a lot since their first meeting together. This honestly strange but very dramatic match ended in sudden death, with Clarke yet again coming close to a title but falling short. Now to discuss Clarke's efforts in the team league. After her instant rise to stardom, it was a big deal who she was going to partner up with in the league. In one of my favorite Schmoedown moments ever, Clarke's decision, she denied JTE's offer to team up and instead went with Mark Riley, which created Wolves of Steel, and I don't think people talk about this enough, but it also created the Patriots. The Wolves of Steel got off to a rocky start against Team Heroes, which by the way is undoubtedly my favorite Schnepp moment ever. Go back and watch that if you're ever in the need for a smile. Rest in peace, big guy. That loss ignited a fire under the Wolves, which led them to beating Real Rejects, 6 Degrees, and Team ETC for a chance to go after the belts against the Patriots. With plenty of backstory involved in the making of this one, Wolves of Steel ended up losing in a close game. After convincing Riley to come out of retirement for one last go, we next saw the Wolves of Steel in the 2017 Ultimate Schmoedown. During their first run at the belts, I remember seeing a lot of people saying that the Wolves of Steel were overrated. This team proved all of their haters wrong within this tournament. They had a commanding first round win against the Wildberries, which yeah, they're the Wildberries, but it was easy to see in this match that the Wolves were coming for blood. Their next match saw them dropping 29 points in a victory over Late to the Party, and in their last match ever, the Wolves of Steel lost in what is, in my opinion, the greatest Schmoedown match of all time. A 35-32 loss to future champions above the line. And then, remember when I mentioned a bunch of drama in the storylines earlier? This was after Ken Knapsack abandoned Rachel Cushing, Rachel and Clarke joined forces as the Shire Wolves, and then the Shire Wolves joined the Fife Club. In their first match, these two powerhouses of movie trivia took down the Lion's Den in a revenge match of sorts, and then after receiving plenty of smack talk from the league's resident villains, they beat Team Action at the second live event in a close game. Friday, August 3rd, they'll take on newcomers The World's Finest in, and let me pause for dramatic effect here, Clarke's overall 5th #1 contenders match. By the way, if anyone's been counting how many matches she's been in, her 22nd that I didn't mention was a celebrity match with the cast of Glow, which she also won, by the way. Clarke Wolfe, the classy one, has been an absolute staple in the movie trivia Schmoedown. With every match, she brings her good sportsmanship, movie knowledge, creative entrances, and like I said before, such a high intensity of competition and love for the game that is just a joy to watch. If you ask me, it's only a matter of time until she gets one of those belts that she's been eyeing for so long.